my friend I went over the ship with and stuff, they kidnapped her and they took her to Turkey and put her in prostitution. She never got out of there. When they get through with them, they killed them. They killed her. We had to lose a lot of girls like that. You couldn't go any place alone over there. You never know who they are. They could be an enemy dressed in American uniform. You didn't trust nobody. Nobody.
Okay.
It was hell. I can't even begin to tell the hell it was over there. I don't even like to think about it. It makes me sick.
Okay, some of our boys that have been over there don't like to talk very much about it either. But some of them are beginning to talk a little bit. All right, Miss Inez, when you came home, why did you come home on the hospital ship? Did you not ever recover from the bombing?
Hell, damn woman, I couldn't even walk. I couldn't walk. I prayed to die for God to take me. Go ahead and take me. The hell you're going through every minute. Life was no pleasure. I couldn't even wait on myself when they carried me on that ship. 2 soldiers did. And they carried me off down south. Put me in that hospital. Then they put me on a plane with some people I knew. One boy had trapped on a booby trap and they blew his dinger off. All he had was a stub. And they put me on there with a Captain Lone. He was from Kodiak, Alaska. And I knew him. I'd worked in his office for him. And he was on that airplane. And they flew us 4 times, and the last place we flew was up in Nebraska someplace. I don't know why. Omaha, I believe it was. When the plane would go down, the ambulance would come, put us in the ambulance, take us to the hospital. We stayed overnight. They fed us. The next morning, they fed us, put us back in the ambulance, take us to the plane, and put us on the plane, and then we flew. Then they flew to Spokane, Washington, and at Baxter General Hospital, and they put me in the hospital there. I was the first woman that came back from Europe. We got one that come back the next day from Asia. What in the damn... It was a hellhole down towards Australia down in there. She had jungle rot. And you know, that's terrible. And we had her toilet, and then she had the next room, because we both used the same toilet in Baxter General Hospital. That's where I got discharged from. I was in there, I don't know how long when I landed there. War was already over. And I passed out in there. I come to my right mind, and it was in the nighttime. There was a ward boy sitting there, taking my temperature and keeping the track of it. He put the temperature in my mouth, and I bit it, and swallowed the lower end, he said, and I'd pass out again. I had real high temperature. He sat there all night by me, and that temperature finally broke. So they come with a wheelchair and a bathrobe and put it on me, and they had one of the ward boys took me and went so far, and another one come, and he had white clothes all on and a mask over his face, over his head, and a mask around his nose and mouth, white stuff over his shoes. He took the wheelchair then and took me into a room, and there was a bed and everything in there, and they put me to bed. Put me in isolation, what it was. And I don't know how long I'd stay there, and then when they'd come in there to bring me food, they'd all be dressed like that, all covered it up. They thought it was some contagious disease or something. I don't know what in the hell it was all about. Well, anyhow, I said to them, I don't like it here. It's lonesome. I want to go back to my damn room. I said, what in the hell's going on anyhow? I said, I know I'm still alive, that's all. I said, I wish to God I'd have died. I told them that. They said, well, we're going to take you out here tomorrow and take you back to the room. I said, oh, you're lying? They said, no, we're not. They lie to you, see. Make you feel good. So he come with the wheelchair and put me in there and took me back to my room. And the board met. And Captain Lone, I knew him. He was there because I'd known him in the States, see. They took us all, put us on that plane and flew us in there to Spokane, Washington, because I'd went in the service there, see. I'd been in the service a long time before I ever went into that. Mm-hmm. And they said, here come a boy with the orders, and they told us to get ready, that they're flying us. And the nurse and them, they help you get you on that plane. They carried me on it.
When you got out of the service, where did you go when you got out of the service?
Well, I had got acquainted. See, I was stationed in Moses Lake, and that's up there by Salt Lake and Spokane, Washington. That's where that was taken at, Moses Lake. That was it was an army base there at that time, and I was stationed out there in B-17s. I went out to my friends. They lived out at Farragut, Idaho, just across the line from Spokane is Idaho. Mm-hmm. And they had a nice, great big farmhouse to live in, and we'd go out there and have dinner a lot of times. And they had a boat. We could go out on the lake. They'd take us all out. I just loved that woman. She was from the South, God bless her, and she had a son. She tried to get me to get married to that son. He was married, and his wife had left him, and she liked me. She just treated me like a daughter, I'll tell you that. I stayed there for a week or two with her after I'd got discharged out before I ever come back. I got on the bus before I ever come back to California. I stayed up there quite a while and just rested, just to get away from that hospital routine and stuff. And I was so skinny.
Okay, 89 pounds, did you say?
Yep.
All right, when you came back to California, where did you land there? Where did you go to in California?
I had a home there. I had a home in Pasadena. I had an English type house. I had it rented out. And I went and got an apartment down in Redlands till their lease was up, and then they had to get out, and I went home, back to my own home, and I sold it later.
Okay. Now you're in your 20s, early 20s, and you're out of service. What's your first job out of service?
I worked for, it was a canning place where they canned Brussels sprouts and broccoli and all that stuff. They had a name there in Pasadena. I had a job down there, and it was piecework, and I made big money. I was so fast that I made more money than the landlord. I mean, the floor lady. We had a boss, was a woman. And I worked packing all this, Brussels sprouts and broccoli and some other stuff. They'd come down on the belt, and you had to pack them in boxes, you know.
All right, now, you said the lady in Idaho Farragut, Idaho, that you stayed with when you got out of the hospital?
Yeah,
She wanted you to marry her son?
yeah.
Why didn't you marry him?
Because I didn't even want to marry her then. Me sick like I felt. I didn't want to marry nobody. I never got married, damn it, till I was 47 years old. I hadn't had nobody. I didn't want anybody.
Okay.
You seen all them men around you, and that life that you had to live. I just stayed at my house there in Pasadena and rested up. Went down to visit where I work, and they wanted to give me a job. I said, no, I don't want to work right now. I said, I don't want to work. And they give me, see, I had in muster and out pay.
Did you get a medical discharge?
Yes.
Did you get
Compensation.
yeah, compensation?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. I did. You know, you want to,
When you joined the WACS the very first time, I mean that first organization,
yeah.
why did you join?
I thought it was my duty to my country. That's the way I looked at it.
Okay.
It had been good to me. I'd had a job, I worked, and I was raised up with plenty of food. And my stepdad, I hated him. I didn't like him. He didn't treat me right after he had 2 kids. Mom had 2 kids by him, a girl and a boy. The boy went in the service over in Japan. He talked Japanese, and he married a Jap, and he got murdered after he got out. He separated from him, and he got shot. He was murdered. He was murdered up in there close to the Oklahoma and Missouri and Kansas line, so I heard. That's what they told me.
Okay.
I didn't bother about looking out because I wasn't close to him. He was 6 foot tall.
Did you receive any medals for being in service?
Yeah, I got the ribbons.
Okay.
They're in there. They're up there someplace.
Okay, we'll look at your album here in a minute. Now, you said you knew Johnny Carson.
Yeah. He come home on the hospital ship. He had an ulcerated stomach. They'd put me in the wheelchair and take me down there in the hospital ship. He sat right across the table from me. And there's always kids needing to borrow money from him. And he was just a little old shaved tail. He didn't have no money. His cousin Jack was on the television, you know, on the radio. He said Jack's got the money. He didn't have any, but later he did.
Okay.
He's a nice kind of a guy. He's a regular down-to-earth guy. You couldn't help but like him.
But now that was when before he became famous. Okay. So you're in California, and you're working at the plant there in California.
Yeah, it's called Consumers. I can't think of that other. It's where they make frozen food. There's Brussels sprouts and lima beans and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
In that, I had a good job there. I made good money. That's why I liked it.
Okay. How long did you work there at that plant?
Oh, after I got out of service, I never did go back and go to work after I got out of service.
Okay.
I bought a home. I'd saved my money in the service.
Okay. So you didn't work after you came home?
I saved all my money and I bought bonds and I sent them to the Chicago Reserve Bank. And I had 200 and some $1,000. I didn't even think about it. I had too hard a time over there.
Okay, okay. Now, Miss Inez, it's been a joy talking to you about...
Well, it ain't been much of a joy to me because I don't like to bring back those old memories because there's stuff in there, kid, what...
I know that you don't like to bring up.
No.